Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review video. I'm really tired, I didn't sleep good last night. So I have 7 books. One of them was just okay, and the other ones were kind of good. So let's start out with the one that I really didn't like. This is called The Alehouse Murders. It's by Maureen. It's a Templar night mystery. I think this is the first book in the series because when I read it, it seemed like it was. This is what it looks like, but it doesn't say anywhere on the cover that it's the first one in the series. But anyway, it's about this night, this Templar night. So it takes place in I think it said it was 1066 AD, and it's kind of like a medieval times, I guess, kind of book. The one thing I didn't really like about this book is it took me a long time to read it because in this book, there's a lot of non-dialogue, so it's more like a world building book than it has a lot of dialogue in it. And the characters, you have to remember or pay attention to the characters, because I got confused with some of the characters, who they were and how they related to the character. Basically, it was about this Templar knight who comes to this town where these killings happened in this alehouse. And he has to figure out who these 2 other people are that were in this alehouse when it happened, because nobody knows why they were connected to what just happened in this alehouse. It was just an okay book. Like I said, it took me a while to get through because some of the chapters were long. And I don't like when there's not a lot of dialogue in a book because it just seems like it takes forever for me to read it. So this book is called No Farm, No Fowl. It's a farmer's daughter mystery. It's the first book in the series. It's by Peg Cochran. I guess that's how you say her last name. This is what it looks like. It's about this girl who runs her farm, and they're having this big get-together at her farm. I think it was it was like a fundraiser for the local church, and the pastor's wife ends up dying at this fundraiser, and she has to figure out why. And here she kind of figures out that the preacher's wife really wasn't that great of a person to begin with when they came from a different town and this stuff happened in this different town. This book is, I guess you would call it kind of like a biography. It's the definitive edition of The Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank. It's a new at the time when this book came out, it was a new translation. It was edited by Otto H. Frank and Mirjam Pressler. This is what it looks like. And basically, it's supposed to be, and in her own words, from her diary, it takes place before they went into hiding. It takes place, I think it was around, I forget what birthday it was of hers, but takes place around one of her birthdays, and then what happened as a result as to when they had to go into hiding and why, and then their time in hiding. And it cuts off, I think it was in August of 1944, I think it was. Let me see. Hold on. I know it was August, but I don't remember. No, it was August 1st. It was a Thursday. It was 1944, and that was a few days before they got captured. And in the afterword, it tells you what happened to Anne and her sister and her mother. It does say in the beginning of the book that there was stuff in the diary that her father didn't want in the book. They didn't want to put it in the book for some reasons. And so it's not like her full diary intact because they did edit some parts out of the diary. But it was still a good book. There are pictures in this book that show you Anne, the life that they had before they went in hiding from World War II. This is called The Chocolate Mousse Motive. It's a chocoholic mystery. It's got trivia in it, and it's by JoAnna Carl. This is what it looks like. I think I have another book in this series. I'm not really sure. It's about this woman who she helps run her grandma, or was it her grandma, or was it? Yeah, her grandmother's chocolate shop. And this person who comes to work for the chocolate shop is kind of like a hippie, where she has this past that the girl is trying to figure out if she really did this thing or not. And everybody thinks she did it because she's a hippie. She's weird. She comes from a hippie background because her grandmother was one, something like that. It was a really good book. It was short. It got to the point. It was a nice book. And the moose comes in at the end. But this moose looks kind of creepy, if you ask me, in this book. I don't know why. It just looks creepy. It's supposed to look like chocolate. So this one is a handcrafted secrets. It's a Mysteries of Lancaster County book. It's by Janice Thompson. This is what it looks like. This book is about these sisters who they own this little shop in Amish country, and here this piece of furniture, something happens to this piece of furniture, and it turns out there was something in the furniture that shouldn't have been, because the person that builds the furniture put secret compartments into his furniture. And the person that bought the furniture and the guy who made the furniture didn't know that this thing was in it. And it's up to Elizabeth and her sisters to figure out who did it and why. And why they hid it in this Amish person's furniture. These books are good. I have a couple more of these books. They're by Guidepost. Guidepost has really good quality like covers. Like these covers are really nice. They're sturdy. They won't like break on you or anything like that. This book, I had a lot of mysteries. Like I think I have more mystery books than anything else, and so that's why in most of my books I try to like separate them so that way I have different books in a series, or different books in this different genres, just because of the fact that if I read a couple mystery books in a row, they get kind of boring. So this book is it's a historical fiction book. It's called The Titanic Sisters. It's by Patricia Falvey. I guess that's how you say her last name. That's what it looks like. It's about these two sisters, who the one sister, the mother likes the best, and the other sister, the father likes the best because of something that happened when their mother was pregnant with the one sister. It was supposed to be twins, and the one twin was supposed to be a boy, and it died, and she blames it on the other twin, which was the girl, which was the other sister. And so they're basically treated differently. But here what happens is the sister that the mother liked was supposed to go on the Titanic to go be a governess to this man whose wife died. And she had to be the governess, kind of like a teacher kind of, / nanny to his daughter. And then the other daughter, her father ended up giving her money so she could go on to this trip with her, because they got her a job working as a maid for, I think it was like a preacher or something like that. I forget. And here, of course, they're on the Titanic, and of course it sinks, and the one sister ends up in the water. The other sister, they both end up in lifeboats, and the one sister ends up in the water. The other sister doesn't. She ends up on the Carpathia, and the sister that was supposed to go be a maid ends up thinks that her sister died, and ends up going to this rich man's place instead to replace her sister. And here it turns out that they were on the same boat, but when they were on the same rescue ship, which was the Carpathia, they didn't know who she was, her sister, because she didn't have anything on her that said who she was. She ended up getting amnesia, and this other woman takes the sister in, and then eventually she starts getting her memory back, and they start going their separate journeys and stuff, and eventually they meet up together. It was a really good book. I really liked it. The chapters were separated based on, well, it wasn't chapters, it was in parts. So it was like one part was the sister. The chapters were like, one chapter was one sister's point of view, the other one was the other point of view, and then the parts in the book were when they went to a different place in the book. It was a really good book. I really liked it. And that book came out in 2021, so it was a fairly recent book. So this book I love. Well, let me preface this. This book, if you read the first part, it's really obvious what happens in the book. So right off the bat, when you read the first chapter or part in this book, you already know what's going to happen at the end of the book. Like, I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's Nicholas Sparks' book. I think this is like the recent one that, like, I think he wrote this like a year or two ago. So it's the most recent one, I think. It's called The Wish. And this is what it looks like. And let me tell you guys, I usually don't cry at the end of books. And this book almost made me cry at the end of it. Hold on! And it was about this woman who she has cancer. And she's basically telling this son this boy, this young man who comes to work for her story about this time in her life where she was pregnant at a young age and where she had to go live with her aunt in this small island town in North Carolina, I think it was, North or South Carolina, I forget. And it was a good book. Like, I wish they would make this into a movie because it was a good book. So I have to get going because I have to eat my lunch. So that was all the books for this book review video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.